Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a best of one game. It is a PvT and it is between ToXiC, the red Protoss player in the lower right, who's up against Stareagle. Stareagle must be the coolest name ever. Like, that is just awesome. I'm Stareagle. Like, it's like from a cheesy B sci-fi film of like a bounty hunter or something like, hey, I'm Stareagle. It'd be like Batman of the future, basically. No, Batman would never be as cool as Stareagle. Stareagle would be awesome. Anyway, that is completely off topic. I sometimes get slightly obsessed with people's usernames if they're a bit funky. But anyway, PvT. That means that we will have from Stareagle lots of Marines, Mortars, Medevacs, probably a couple of Ghosts and Vikings as well, should the game get that far. Up against Gateway units, then Colossi and High Templar Storm, maybe some Archons. If he wants to mix it up a bit, be a little bit funkier, we will wait and see. Anyway, guys, map Ahana. Ahana, really nice map. Both players should be able to take the expansions relatively easily. I expect to see them quite soon. Not a kind of map I'd use for a one-base play, to be honest. Blinkstalkers, they could also come into play, actually, because there is this area here which could be utilised quite effectively with Blinkstalkers if you have an observer. Obviously, drop play is viable because you have this little cliff area here you can go up at. The natural is also slightly exposed, but there's a lot of area to pick off any kind of dropships, so perhaps not now. Good move there by ToXiC, just going to go check, make sure there's no proxy barracks or anything like that. But neither player are doing anything too annoying, yeah, which is always a good sign, I think, if both players are behaving themselves. We should be in store for a bit more of a macro game. I'm on a massive castathon right now. This is, well, I'm running into my 8th hour of casting now, which is brilliant. I don't know why, I'm just really into it today, so I'm just like cast. Anyway, let me just say, if you like my casting, obviously please subscribe because I get new games up every single day of the week. Unless, of course, like the power's out or something like that, when I can't, unfortunately. But other than that, hell yeah, I do. Or if I'm at a tournament, if I'm live casting an event, it's difficult to upload and get time to like cast a game as well. Talking of events, I-47 is coming up soon, the UK's biggest gaming festival, so do check that out, guys. Of course, I cast I-46, and hopefully we'll be casting I-47 as well. Just taking a look around the map at the moment, what else have we got going on? Well, we've got the Orbital Command there, we've got the Natural coming out. No sign of a Natural yet for ToXiC. That should be started soon, to be honest. He's got a lot of gas, though, so we'll be interested to see what he chooses to do with that gas, because obviously he's got Warp Gate Tech, he's got the Stalker coming up, it's still gathering more. He is also banking up quite a lot of resources in terms of minerals, so I think if he doesn't get that expansion out soon, it could come back to hurt him. The Marine boldly moving forward, and there's nothing to stop it. The Zealot was not skipped, but it's going a bit of a funny route to go and like try and sneak its way in, but now that Stalker is out, that Marine is unfortunately now going to die, which is always a shame. I feel bad for the poor Marine dying, but the Zealot should be able to get in, but the bunker's up, so that Zealot is going to do a grand total of pretty much nothing. It's going to take huge amounts of damage, and even then 2 Marines can kite a Zealot indefinitely. So that is bad times being a Zealot then, before you get charged, of course. When you get charged, wow, you become awesome, you show those Marines who's boss. Looking around the map, second gas coming up, the Natural on its way out for ToXiC, but of course the expansion out a lot earlier for Stareagle. And well, Stareagle's following that up with a third command center, double gas, 2 barracks. He's like, I'm going to build 2 barracks, 2 gas, and 2 additional command centers. He's a big fan of Noah's Ark. He really liked that story as a kid. It was his favourite. Anyway, will we see a second bunker? 2 bunkers. Always a good move, getting 2 bunkers should you suspect pressure. We've got a hidden 4th gateway. That is so sneaky of you, ToXiC. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to go and harass? Zealots are a bit resilient. Yeah, they can be. Zealots can be very irritating. Anyway, we do have the tech lab on its way down now. Let's actually see how much scanning information was gathered there. Not much in grand total. I mean, you know, there's an expansion. You have no idea about the second barracks. Or, no idea about the gas either. That's a bit of a shame. In terms of Stareagle's view, he knows very little either, so that is a bit annoying. Anyway, Forge coming down, we've got, well, 3 gateways, the 4th one on the way. We do have Warp Gate Tech just finishing up. So again, it's a delayed 4-gate, that goes down the pylon, bang on cue, and well, we should see a nice little warp in. And there's the second bunker, because the bunkers came in 2x2, hurrah, hurrah. I've really gone crazy. I should probably stop casting someone soon and get some sleep. But that's beside the point. Let's look at all of this. We've got some units moving across. We should see a warp in momentarily. The pylon is done. Here comes that one zealot. And well, can all of this punch through? Well, no sentries, so that unfortunately means that SCVs will be able to repair said bunkers with no interruption, which does mean that the bunkers will never, ever, ever die. Which means this isn't going to work. The SCV scouts as well! Oh, the SCV should be preemptively pulled because there's a lot of units coming at you, bro. Seriously, pull the SCVs. There we go. That is how you do it. But of course there is a risk of some SCVs dying, but this push has well and truly been stamped out and stopped. Now the +1 armor on its way. There comes down the Twilight Council. Now you may be thinking, why armor rather than attack? Well, because it all comes down to essentially, is your opponent going to have lots of fast attacking units? If the answer is yes, get armor because it will really hurt the DPS of said units. Are you going to have loads of fast attacking units? If yes, get weapons because your DPS will raise massively. That is a general rule. It's why you normally see Zerg players get the +1 melee attack for Zerglings, and you see Terran players get the +1 to an infantry because obviously Marines shoot fast like. So it is always good. Twilight Council is now down. That SCV did scout it though, blink on its way. Will we see a robotic facility and observer? Most probably. Whether we will see it in time for that Blinkstalker play, we'll wait and see. But for the moment, just Marines and Medevacs on the way out. We do have the starport just starting, the factory there, 2 more barracks being added on. That third orbital command should be really helping him keep up in terms of the work he can, which it exactly is. And also giving the third mule, which should mean this screen is very blue, which basically means Stareagle is getting more economy, 2 more gateways being added on. Fake push from Stareagle. It would appear that way. Well, actually it wasn't a fake push. It was meant to be a bit of a push that you scouted perfectly. So I'm not sure if it was VM or not. It may just been genuine confusion. It may have been a bit of taunting. Either way, obviously ToXiC did take it in good spirit, so that is all fine. Storm being researched now, so we are going to have High Templar on the field. Other than that, of course, the +1 ground weapons on their way. Blink was cancelled in exchange for charge. That is slightly more unusual, so it looks like we're going to very quickly get into charge lots, probably quite a few Archons as well, I would imagine. Zealot Archon, a bit of a situation which deals with stuff quite well, but you never really plan to be there. As a Protoss player, it doesn't really work out too well for you in the long term because infantry is just too good. Now, we do have that third base about to be taken down by Stareagle, and that should open up a lot of options for him. He's scouting with the factory as well. He's starting to produce those medevacs. He hasn't seen any Thors, Colossi yet, so no need to worry about getting Vikings. And well, one Stalker happily joining the rest of the merry crew. A lot of Zealots there. The High Templar do not have... Actually, they do have Storm researched, they just don't have enough energy for it. That is going to be annoying because here come the infantry units. They are stimming up. A Storm does go down. There's a second Storm, and that is how you annihilate an entire Terran army in one. That was really funny. Just like Stareagle just had 75. Damn it. And that is true. Unfortunately, that was the case. In terms of the loss tab now, that is looking good times for ToXiC, who of course wants to be losing less because generally speaking, Protoss units are more expensive, so you want to be engaging more cost effectively than your opponent. Unless, of course, you definitely do rather if your opponent has a third base and you don't, because that likely means that you've got problems. Now, landing the factory is just so irritating. It's like, there's a factory as your third, you are not building a third for a long time. We do have some more warpings going down, but this army is slightly isolated, but another good Storm goes down here actually. That was really quite nice. It dealt some good damage. The Marine numbers being kept low, and of course that is important because the Marines are the primary damage dealer in the Terran army. And well, upgrade advantage definitely goes to no one. Both players on equal upgrades. This third base is going to start taking some heavy damage. You've got some more High Templar there. Both have enough for Storms. The ones who don't have enough energy for Storms should probably be morphed into an Archon in my opinion, just to deal with it. That orbital command should be safe. We do have more units joining in here. Of course, ToXiC now is aware that the third base was down. If we look at the worker count, it's 56 to 46 in Stareagle's favour, so that is really nice. He's apparently pulled all of his workers away from the mineral line just to bring them back as the push comes, which probably isn't too fun. Some great feedback. The storm goes down as well. Those ghosts are doing some good damage though, and I think all of the energy for storm. There is one left, but it doesn't hit very well. It does get a lot of medevacts, but really you want to be hitting the infantry with that, which is unfortunate. And well, now the Zealots are probably going to get picked off. There's no choice but to really engage, and Archon is morphing in now, but there's just too much stuff here. Great status step micro going on as we speak. Those High Templar need to run away very quickly. They're very expensive. The Archon finishes. Some damage being done. Quite a few SCVs getting killed here, I believe, in the mix of this. So Stareagle will clean up this push, but did he take too much economical damage? Let's have a look. Wow, ToXiC has killed 30 workers. That is big, like really big. That is bad times. It does mean that ToXiC is now ahead in terms of the work count. He's got his third base on the way, with third base re-landed, and of course mules. Mules will fix this problem. Let's just cool down lots and lots of mules. Except you already cooled them down in your natural, which may not have been the best move, because you're going to mine out really quickly. Anyway, we've got the robotics bay on its way out. We do have, of course, 2 immortals coming, so there are 2 robotics facilities. And taking a look around, photon cannon preventing drops, and defending that robotics bay. Then third base is about 2/3 done. More ghosts on the way out for Stareagle at the moment. Stareagle though, he needs to start thinking Vikings, because there's about to be Colossus, and Colossus really do a lot of damage, so you need to find a way to deal with that. But of course, good late game planning out of ToXiC. Get High Templar and Colossi, because both of them together are very, very potent. Obviously the High Templar and Storm deal good burst damage, whereas the extended thermal lances do good continual damage all the way through, and really can clean up. If you get good Storm with a couple of hits off Colossi, well, it does good hits. Now, we are seeing these pylons getting picked up now, so no sneaky warpins will be going down. In terms of resources lost this game, Stareagle still lost about 900 more, so no, actually just over 1100, I can't count. That basically means that in terms of cost efficiency, not much of a difference at this stage of the game. At 60 minutes into the game, just 1,000 resources difference. It's tiny, to be honest. The big difference is what made that up, and of course, as you remember, 31 workers killed. That is an awful lot of resources lost in terms of workers. But if we look at the worker count, it has leveled up very nicely now. With the mules, that is going to be good times. Both Stareagle did have his third base out a lot longer before ToXiC, so he should be okay. If we look at how this supply is made up, though, Stareagle with slightly more army supply, exactly equal worker supply now as well, so that is very interesting. But 3 probes being built at a time, 3 SCVs being built at a time. The chrono boost not going off on the Nexus, though. Extended thermal lands on its way down. The first Colossus is out. The second Colossus is nearly done. Should see double production of those for a while. How many High Templar do we have at the moment? Grand total of 5. So that should be quite good. The ghost numbers are really getting high with 7, but no Vikings still. That could really hurt. If push comes before the Colossi count gets above, so about 3 or 4, that doesn't matter too much, because they don't have the damage output necessary and can be sniped. At 3, 4 plus, then the Colossi just deal so much damage that infantry need those Vikings there to focus them down. High Templar was picked off there, that is always nice, and of course Stareagle will now see those Colossi, and massive feedback on the Ghosts, which was, again, a questionable... Oh, no, his EMPs actually went off. God, I didn't think they were EMPs, but that was huge damage to all the shields, but some big storms go off nonetheless. A lot of that army very, very badly damaged. The medevacs, of course, still moving, can't heal while moving. That would be so ridiculously OP, but it does mean, ultimately, that for the moment, Stareagle didn't completely outright die. He's now starting his Viking production, is back in with the chance. If that engagement had gone in the favour of ToXiC and he kept up all of his Colossi, he would have been fine, but only 1 Colossus on the field at the moment, 2 in production though. We do of course have the Gravatic boosters coming out, as well as the 3-3 upgrades for both players. 3-3 for the Terran though, a lot closer to being finished, so that will obviously give him a momentary upgrade advantage. Now, the 5th and 6th gas being taken at last for the Terran, as well as getting up, well, more Vikings. This Protoss army is getting in an interesting position. They could get flanked though, which wouldn't be good, and it is still very Zealot heavy. Very, very Zealot heavy, and with only the 1 Colossus, could have some problems. There is of course the Observer there, just keeping an eye on what else is coming down. That one Zealot does get picked up, doesn't get any scouting information though, and of course now we've got 2 more Colossi joining the mix. The Viking count still seems very dangerously low, only 3 Vikings, 2 more in production. Need to be up to kind of about 6, 10-ish, would be a lot nicer and feel a lot more comfortable for the Terran to quickly take out those Colossi, which of course will deal so much damage. The Storms, there's not many High Templar down there, there's still 5, but again, that's some good Storms potentially going off. We do have the War Prism going around, perhaps to go and harass this 3rd base. Of course, Terran usually very fond of those little drops, but Protoss can play that game as well. Quite a few SCVs should die here, to be honest. Should get a couple. The Mule is definitely going to go down. That is a big loss in itself, losing a Mule with full energy, but here comes all of the reinforcements. Does, however, give ToXiC the potential to get a lot of map dominance, because it has pulled all of the Terran army back right now. Still some more Zealots coming in. This is some more workers getting killed. The worker count is in ToXic's favour by quite a lot, and there's a big cooldown of Mules. The base that War Prism still hiding. We've got a couple of Vikings moving around, an Observer, a Zealot, just keeping an eye on everything. We do have a pylon moving up here, suggesting ToXiC is perhaps thinking, maybe I should take a 4th base. That maybe would be a good idea, ToXiC, but to be fair, you need to be careful. ToXiC does have the supply advantage. The Colossi count is a 5th one on the way. How he spends that last kind of 7 points of supply will really influence the battle, in my opinion. I've got a lot of SCVs being pulled now. This is pretty much an all-in right now. That is an all-in. Really, this is everything. All of the workers have been pulled, I do believe. Or at least a vast majority of them have been. They're purely there just to soak up fire and tank a lot of it. A good EMP goes off, but a feedback went down as well. Now here we go, we've got some good movement. We've got Scan going off just to keep an eye on everything that's happening. Of course, with the EMP down on the Colossi, it means that those Vikings will do so much damage. In come everything. The SCVs getting involved in the mix as well. Some Storms go down. That Storm is dealing some good damage. Those are massive Storms, and all the units stay in them. This is really quite one-sided right now, and ToXiC has taken that game easily with that last engagement. I'm not quite sure why Stareagle actually took all of his workers with him. It didn't really gain much, in my opinion. Anyway, if you did enjoy the cast, subscribe, like the video, and leave a cool comment. That'd be awesome. And then flick over to my channel and watch some more games. And if you've seen all of my games, then I'll see you tomorrow for yet another high-level game. Thank you very much for watching, and catch you again soon. Bye for now.